and Information Service. Then next is Planning, Programming, Budgeting System, PPBS. This budgeting method combines the best of both program budgeting and performance budgeting. PPBS is, however, one of the most complex methods of budgeting, incorporating many elements of long-range planning techniques. The preparation of PPBS budget will require, first, the establishment of organizational goals, the selection of specific objectives from a variety of possible objectives which are of relevant to the goals of the organization. Next is the collection of data in order to determine appropriate objectives. Then the development in detail of the ways in which the objectives are to be achieved, which should include a review of current procedures as well as an evaluation of new ideas. Then last is evaluating the result so that corrective actions can be taken. PPBS enables a librarian to enumerate programs as well as assign costs to these. It allows authorities to look at programs proper perspective. As a result, they will be able to notice the effects of cutting or adding money to the budget. An example of PPBS is given in table 2. For example, use of lending services in a special library. In this case, input cost will be 3,30,000. Kind of service will be given will be lending service. The objective of the program will be lending books for home to the users. Output total will be 15,000 items. Cost per unit output will be calculated as rupees 22. Similarly, second example for reference service is also given in this table. Then last is our zero-based budgeting. The idea behind ZBB technique is to divide enterprise programs into packages composed of goals, activities and needed resources, and then to calculate costs of each package from the ground up. Zero-based budgeting is similar to PPBS but does not take into account what happened in the past but emphasis on the current activities. Every program and activity of the library, and for them the financial requirements are worked out without reference to the past. ZBB has a number of benefits over traditional budgeting. First is effective allocation of resources. Second is improvement in productivity and cost effectiveness. Third is effective means to control the cost. Next is elimination of unnecessary activities. Better focus on organization's objectives. However, if zero-based budgeting is not followed properly, it involved extra paperwork, difficulty in identifying decision packages, tendency to establish minimum level of efforts, etc. Then I have given the budgetary control cycle, which emphasizes on 3 phases. First, planning, management and control. Then their counterparts, external and internal. Now I will explain you accounting. Accounting is the term that describes the processes involved in the measurement and recording of financial information and its subsequent communication and interpretation as background to decision making within the organization at all levels. 3 types of accounting are recognized by the accounting professions. Financial accounting. The accounts record the transactions of the organization with third parties such as suppliers, customers and of course of their staff. Second is cost accounting. Cost accounting is the process of establishing the cost in money terms of the activity or process being reviewed. Third is management accounting. Management accounting is a process combining financial and cost accounting that provides the complete picture of financial state of the organization and should allow the organization's management to manage its finances prudently. For efficient financial administration of a library should set up a separate accounts section, and the following important records be maintained and kept up to date. First is cash book. This is a record in which details of daily cash transactions regarding income and expenditure of an institution are entered. Second is ledger. A ledger is a book in which the budget provision or income is given at the top and expenditure on all items and subjects is entered one after the other. Third is allocation register. In the allocation register, accounts are maintained head-wise and subject-wise. Separate financial records are maintained in the library for books, periodicals, binding, stationery, contingency, etc. under approved budget heads. Then is our general invoice register or bill register. In this register, the serial numbers are given in column 1 are termed as the voucher number of this bill. The office copy of each bill is arranged in a serial number in a separate file after the same has been processed and paid for. This arrangement helps the library staff in finding out any information regarding any item. The journal invoice register, which is also known as bill receipt register, contains the following notification. That is serial number, bill number and date, third name of the firm, fourth amount. Then fifth is salary bill register. The salary bill register of a library staff is a detailed document of the salaries during a particular year. The salary bill register of the staff, in addition to the copy of the detailed salary bill, contains the following information. First is pay of the administrator and supervisory staff. Second, then pay of establishment, then technical staff, ministerial staff, class 4th staff, then DA, that is dearness pay, city compensatory allowance, house rent, interim relief, other allowances, then total, then to provident fund, to gratuity fund and grand total. In addition to this, if preferred and considered necessary, the register may also show deductions to be made out of the salary bill for income tax, CTD, state insurance premium and other loans taken by an employee. Through these have no relevance to library accounting. Then equipment record. Another record for the library is a card file of major equipments. This record facilitates equipment purchase and replacement. It also provides an accurate inventory for insurance and other purpose. Next is our cost accounting. Cost accounting is the process of allocating resources to activities to show the cost of each individual activity. The techniques and result of a cost accounting exercise will assist the information manager to gauge and record all the constituent elements of cost involved in manufacturing a particular unit of an article or providing a particular service. Suppose we acquire 50 books and make these available to the readers for use after necessary processing. In order to know the cost of processing of one book, we must account the net price of the book, stationery, the man hours spent in terms of money paid as salaries to library staff members of the acquisition section, technical section and circulation section. The total cost calculated should be divided by 50 and the resultant is the cost of issuing one book. Then methods of cost accounting. The following 3 methods may be used in finding out the cost of a unit work of an article. First is theoretical cost to be arrived by assessing before the following: the service or work to be performed, the cost of goods, services and equipment. Second is ideal standard to be found out by providing favorable conditions for work. Third, practical cost to be found out by actually doing a certain job and finding out the cost per unit of worker service. Then auditing. Auditing means an examination of the accounts book, the relative documentary evidence and vouchers in order to ascertain the relative documentary evidence. The objects of the audit are: first is verification of financial statement, to detect clerical errors, to detect fraud if any exists, and last is to prevent fraud and errors. Two types of audit systems are prevalent in our country, namely pre-audit and post-audit. Post-audit means that the drawing and disbursing officer, that is DDO, prepares the bills, signs them and sends them to the treasury or accounts branch. The DDO is responsible for the correctness of the bills. In this system, only random audit is stored to every item is not checked, but some months are selected at random. Payment items occurring during these selected months are thoroughly and minutely verified. Mistake, if any, are pointed out. The person concerned is advised and warned to be cautious in future. The pre-audit system is generally followed in autonomous bodies. In pre-audit system, no item can be passed for payment unless it has been first audited. The pre-audit system reduces the responsibility of DDO in the sense that all the necessary verifications have already been done by the audit in advance. Here, instead of drawing disbursing officer, the auditors satisfy themselves before the bills are passed for payment.